Frank ranks week number 21. We got Marvel, we got DC, we got 8 books to talk about. Who's going to be number 1? Let's find out right now. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for spending time with me as we rant about movies, comic books, and television shows, as well as the occasional board game. I'm your host, Frank Zanca. I'm an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer, as well as a filmmaker. And yeah, we're going to jump into these comics to see who ranks number 1 and who ranks at the bottom. Before we begin, remember to give me a like, give me a thumbs up if you can. If you can't subscribe, please do. Ring that bell, ding, ding. And also share this video out there so people know what's going on in the comic industry. If you'd like to read anything that I've written, I am on Amazon. You can just click my name in there, or there's a link in the description below. And yeah, you can check out my 4-novel series, Destiny Aurora. It's also on Kindle and on audiobook on an Audible. And it was also made into a board game and a graphic novel. Then on top of that, I have my fantasy book, Tales of Ravenor, the Iron Witch. And we also have our new comic called Fairy Tales of Terror, where we follow a murderous Cinderella and Captain Hook, who has his own little fairy with him now, is a fire fairy. And we have Tiger Lily from Peter Pan tracking them down and trying to stop them. Yeah, it's going to be pretty fun. Anyway, check that out. It is on Kickstarter right now in pre-launch. Just go to the QR code, or you can click the description below. There's a link in there. All right, so let's jump into the first of these 8 books. I actually wrote it down this time so I don't mess up my my numbering. Where I have to count every few, going, oh, am I on the right track? Anyway, a lot of the books this week were either bad or extremely average. Only the last few I thought were really good. Unfortunately, I had a really good week last week. This week was not that great. All right, so we're going to start out with a book that I personally dislike. And I know a lot of people do like it, so I'm in the minority, only because this is my favorite character, and I just don't think that this embodies that character. And that is the first one's from DC, and that is Aquaman number 6. I really dislike what Jeremy's doing here. I love Jeremy. We've been friends for a little bit, but I do not like the direction that he's taken Arthur in. He went very Arthurian legend with it because of his name being Arthur. I don't think that quite fits. He's got Arion with him and the lady from the lake from King Arthur. And in the first issue, Mera and Atlantis disappeared. I were kind of led to think that it was going to be Darkseid, but Darkseid has been nowhere in here. But we're now... he also has Mera's powers, which I totally dislike as well. And on top of that, he has this... his trident can become a sword, which makes no sense. Not unless it was magical, but that's not how this is. It's literally transforms. Yeah, not good all the way around. They were introduced to Captain Nemo in the last issue, which is really the only reason I kind of got into the next one, because I'm a big fan of 20,000 Leagues. But he cannot command the Nautilus by himself. But he has no crew in here at all. The Nautilus is a huge submarine. There's no way to pilot that thing on its own, on his own. It's impossible. But meanwhile, he's the only one aboard the whole ship. Yeah, I just don't like it. So finally, we got to issue 6. We're still on the same storyline. This is dragging. He is no closer to finding Atlantis and his family than he was in issue 1. So I gave this to issue 6, and I am now dropping it. I will not be reviewing Aquaman number 7. I'm over it. All right, sorry. So that was at the bottom of my list. So let's move on to number 7, another one of the top 2. Now we go from DC and we go to Marvel. And the next one is the New Avengers number 1. Actually, Mike Koslick from Mike Spider Slayer actually liked this issue. I detested it. I thought that it's written by Sam Humphries. Why is Carnage even in this group? I have no idea. I'm a fan of Laura X-23, but why is she Wolverine? I don't understand that. Wolverine is Wolverine. You can't just hand the mantle to just anyone. I like Namor being in here, but if they were going to go with New Avengers, they should have just stuck with the movie, right? With most of the characters from the movie. So you should have had Yelena in there. You should have had U.S. Agent in there. And instead of Carnage, you could have put Ghost in there. If you don't want to put Taskmaster in, that's fine. I do love Clea, but a magic user on this. And Namor is not really a person that takes orders. So putting Namor on any kind of team is always... I mean, I guess you could put him on the team as long as there was something Atlantean involved. He would fight, but for the most part, he don't give a shit. So he doesn't really work on a team. I don't know. But that's why, and then Hulk, you're probably better off putting She-Hulk on this damn thing. So, I don't know. I think that the roster is bad. The dialogue is god awful. I mean, the dialogue is awful. And then we use the same trope of here's a group and then we have another group fighting them. We have zombie freaking Illuminati for no reason whatsoever. There's no setup to this. There's no nothing. They just go and fight them for the most part. Bucky isn't even a leader because Black Widow recruits him. And Hulk and Carnage aren't in this issue, and neither is Clea. So, I mean, half the team isn't even in this book. Black Widow sneaks up on Bucky in the middle of a desert. There's literally nothing around. The only building that was even there, he blew up. And she's just standing next to him with the gun on his head. He's like, oh, you snuck up on me. How? How? You can see for miles. Have you never been to a desert? It's awful. This book is awful. And the whole Illuminati thing is just stupid. What they should have done is built up. Like how Proposed did Space Ghost. That's how you put together a supervillain team. You have them fight all the supervillains separately, and then they team up for the finale. That's the way to do this. Not like this. This is complete garbage. If you like it, good for you, but I'm not seeing it. All right, number 6. Another Marvel book, because Marvel's kind of in the suckage right now. Magic. So this started out really good. I'm a big fan of Magic. I liked, even in the last issue, how she was trying to deal with Darkchild, which is her demon half. And Darkchild was like, look, quit fighting me. I'm just here to help you. And I kind of like that. But now we've totally even gone off from the main villain. This is only a mini-series, and we have a filler issue here. And I was like, oh, we're going to have Madeline Pryor in this, and, she's the Goblin Queen. Oh, that could make a really good, team up here of, doing something out of the ordinary that we don't normally see. And so she goes to Limbo for whatever friggin' reason. And I guess that, she gave Limbo to Madeline Pryor. And there's a whole lot you could have done in here. But instead, they do absolutely nothing. It's them, she's like, I know you can read my mind, or I can read your mind, and I'm telling you, I can hear that you're saying that, you don't trust me, and you don't think that I'm good for Limbo, or I can control Limbo. And it's like, What is all this? Anyway, this was a pretty bad issue, and when it could have been really good, they just every piece of opportunity was squandered. The only reason I'm continuing it is because it's only 2 more issues left and it's over. So at least Danny Morningstar's back in the next issue because this was a waste. Okay, now we're on to number 5. Number 5, another Marvel book. And that is Star Wars number 2. This is by Alex Segura. And I like Alex Segura's Dick Tracy. I think he does a really good job with Dick Tracy. Everything else, like he just did Green Hornet and Miss Fury, and it was horrible. I mean, horrible. Really bad. And Star Wars, he hasn't really screwed the pooch yet, but it's getting there. It's getting there. So we had this fight with pirates on the last one, and then this she was supposed to have Leia was supposed to have some kind of a trade agreement, and that went like tits up, and there was like a war is now started for no reason, and Luke says, "I gotta go," and literally goes into hyperspace, doesn't report to Leia, doesn't tell her what's going on. Even he leaves his wingman behind completely and just goes into hyperspace and says bye. Bad. That is not Luke. That is not Luke in the least. When he went to Dagobah, he already said that he wasn't gonna rendezvous. This was completely different. He wasn't supposed to be anywhere, and here he's actually working for the rebellion, and he just kind of skedaddles. And he skedaddles to find this Jedi crown. That the design looks horrible. It looks basically like a yarmulke. It's horrible. And so this is all about Luke. We get nothing on the trade war. Nothing. We get like 1 page with Leia saying that everybody's combining up, or that their enemies are combining up. That's it. That's all we get. And Luke is told by this pirate where to find the thing, but there's no map, no GPS coordinates, no nothing. He just happens to land at the right part of the planet, and he gets to this bar and he fights the bar guys, and the bartender's like, "You're breaking up my bar again." Funny stuff. And anyway, he ends up fighting to get the thing, and he gets it, and that's it. We're at right now. The next issue should be better because we have Han and Valance in it. I'm looking forward to that, but this wasn't. He's number 2, and he's already going off the reservation. All right, number 4. That is actually correct. Number 4, Batman and Robin. So the story's not bad here. I know a lot of people are really liking Batman and Robin. And I really like what they're doing with Damian. I think they're really adding another layer to Damian, which is great. But this storyline with Memento has been going on for like 12 issues already. Stop it. Stop it. This story should not take this long. And it's going nowhere. We're going nowhere. We know nothing about Memento from the first issue to the last issue. There's no progression of that villain. None. This story is just going like this. It's going in place. Nothing's going on. So, Memento, I know nothing about the character. Nothing. Except for the fact that he has some kind of either supernatural or some kind of a gas that makes it look supernatural, where he kind of took it from Scarecrow. But this guy's been around for like decades. And the guy that was teaching them, because when Bruce was out, he guess he had a different name, because one of the people that he was training with came from Scotland Yard to investigate it, the whole Memento thing, and their teacher was blamed for it. And he shows up in this issue, but she keeps calling him Jack. So he does. At least she doesn't know his real identity, but she recognized Batman as the person that she trained with, and she was working with Robin. But now Robin is captured, and by Memento or Alistair or whatever the guy's name is, that was their teacher. And meanwhile, Batman contracts these homeless kids to go look in the sewer for Memento. He puts children into danger? What? What? Why would he do that? And if he knew about these homeless children, why didn't he give them grants or something to hook them up with an apartment or something? That is way out of character for Batman to go to the slums and have these homeless kids that are living in the sewer and not give them any money or anything else, and instead put them in danger? That makes no sense. But anyway, they end up finding the no man's land city portion, I guess, that went under the earth, which I'm really not buying anyway. And they get attacked at the end. And meanwhile, Batman goes to Etrigan because I guess the Memento character is rhyming, so that's the first person he goes to is Etrigan. I don't know. This was not a good issue at all. And if he doesn't wrap this up in 2 issues, I'm dropping because I got to the point of apathy. I just don't care about this Memento character anymore. I don't care. There's nothing besides Damian, the story with Damian. There's nothing holding me into this story. Nothing. And if he's going to go another 10, 12, 15, 25, 50 issues and do this Tom Taylor thing where he's just going to go on and on and on and on and on and on and on with the same storyline, I'm jumping off this ship, man, because it's going to sink eventually. So he's got 2 issues to keep me on and close this storyline up. If not, I'm gone. I'm gone. And that'll make 0 Batman stories that issues that I'm getting. I'm on. This is the only Batman story that I'm even on. I jumped off Hush. I don't care about Detective. I heard that Batman Patterns is good, but that thing's so far into it, I'm not going to jump on that now. But yeah, and I'm not really a fan of Sherman, Hayden Sherman's thing, what he does with Wonder Woman. All right, so let's jump on to number 3, Marvel book, but it's a Wayback Machine Marvel. So another addition to my John Byrne run. This is the Fantastic Four. This is from late 1980s, I believe. And again, this is by John Byrne. And it's a very strange story. But it's a one and done. It's just a very it's a contained story within this issue. And what it's about is that we start out in Death Row, where we have this guy that's kind of, he's a criminal, but he said he didn't commit the murder he did, that he's getting blamed for. But he's done other crimes, so he's definitely not an innocent. But the crime, the murder that he is getting killed for, he did not do. So he has a letter sent to Johnny, but he does die. And he's killed for, by, I don't remember, it's electrocution or whatever, but he's killed. But he wants his mom, he wants to clear his name for his mom. So Johnny remembers him for being a bully in school, but decides to take up the mission anyway. And he and Thing are fighting or whatever. Because he gives it to the priest, and the priest shows up at the Baxter Building to give Johnny the letter. And it's all pandemonium in the Baxter Building. But anyway, Johnny takes this on, and of course, the cops didn't come up with anything, but he ends up finding information out that does lead him to Hammerhead, and then we get a battle with Hammerhead at the end. And he ends up telling his mother that he didn't kill that person. And she's kind of nonplussed about the whole thing. And she's like, yeah, but he's still a criminal. He did other things. So he made his choices, whether he did this or not. So it was a pretty interesting story. I wouldn't say it was great, but it was interesting. Definitely better than the other books prior to this. And this is from the 90s. All right, number two. Number two. The last two, well, I won't tell you what the last one is. But this one here is independent. So I think this is the first independent book that I have here. Yeah, everything else is either Marvel or DC. And I have an independent here at number two. That tells you a lot, actually. And that is Conan by Titan Comics. And this is by Jim Zub, who has not failed yet. It's kind of like proposed with Space Ghost. I haven't been let down yet. He knows how to write a story, although he writes stories that are very contained. He goes, 2, 3 issues, 4 issues on the max, and he's on to something else. And that's how this should be. There shouldn't be anything going on for any more than 6, 7 issues. And, not to mention 12. But some of the stuff he doesn't even close up. Like, did the last story even end? And he's on to something new? So he has a completely opposite problem. Where I'm like, what happened to the last one? He's on to something new. Like, he's on book 21. And I think that Batman and Robin is on 22. And has had 2 stories. Yeah, so he's like, because he's the second writer. And this one's on 21. And he's gone like through 5 or 6 stories. Fucking amazing. But this is a brand new jumping on point if you're not reading Conan, where he groups up with a village and helps them fight some of their enemies. And when he does, he ends up saving this princess. Of course, she's a hot princess and wearing any clothes. And they're on their way to drop her off, to reunite her with her family. And they stop at this town, and everybody's just smiling. And his antennas go up that something's wrong. They go to the tavern, and he warns everybody not to drink or eat a lot because we don't know what's in there. And he eats very little, but everybody else really doesn't heed him, and they're all basically captured because he walks around and he finds people like in this under a pit that's basically used as a prison. And he sees the girl getting taken, and he tries to stop them, and he gets overwhelmed after killing a bunch of them. But anyway, he ends up. I guess they're captured for quite a while, and they become very docile, but they're both meant to be sold. So the sorceress comes up, and she stops him. They're about to kill him because he's rebelling. And she's like, no, I have a place for him. And of course they throw him in the pit, and Tathaman is at the end while he's about to fight this gargantuan guy. But yeah, good stuff. The artwork's great. There's a lot happens in this one little issue. It's good stuff. All right, so number 1, is it Marvel? Is it DC? Is it independent? It's independent. It's independent because Marvel and DC can't write shit, apparently. And that, I read it digitally, and that is Geiger, number 15, by Jeff Johns. I got into this late, but I did end up, I read a single issue, and then I ended up reading a full graphic novel, I think of issue 1 through 6. So I got myself kind of caught up, and then I've been reading it ever since. And this is the story of Ashley Arden. I keep wanting to say Dale Arden, and that's not it. I think her name is Ashley Arden. But anyway, this is a post-apocalyptic world. Tyreek is I guess he somehow absorbed all this radioactivity that turns him into a glowing man. And he has these sticks that literally go into his back, I guess into the skin of his back, that absorb the radioactivity to keep him normal. But once he takes them out, he's fully irradiated, so he can't be shot and stuff like that. He melts things. things to that effect. So that's basically his superpowers are his curse. And he has a two-headed dog because in this post-apocalyptic world, a lot of the animals were mutated. And he's got this knight with him that was like security at a Las Vegas resort or whatever else, casino. But I guess their thing was knights, their, modus operandi kind of thing. So he calls himself an atomic knight or something like that. But anyway, he's been traveling with him, and Tyreek has been annoyed by him most of the time. But anyway, they end up finding this Ashley R, and they're looking for this doctor, and she has the doctor, locked up. But she has this plan. She was Lord Tyreek to her so she can detonate a nuclear bomb, and he would be forced to absorb all the radioactivity, including hers. So to make her normal. But it would kill him. And as it was killing him, she returned to normal, so her plan worked. But in a change of heart, she ended up taking it back to save him. Which I thought was really, really good. I thought it was a really, really good, heartfelt story. And then I missed part of this issue. I guess there's two girls or twins or whatever that he goes to see, and then he introduces the knight as his friend, and the guy practically breaks down and cries. Really, really good stuff. This is how you write a comic. And again, that storyline is just going. There's no, like, the whole Ashley Arden thing is now ended for now, and now we're moving on to something else. There's no reason to stick with something. And if you're going to stick with a story, right, that goes on for 30 years, then at least throw us another villain in the middle of this that's going to sidetrack Batman or whatever, and give us something new in the middle of, give us a B story. You can't go A all the way through. That's not how writing works, man. And I think it's Philip Kennedy Johnson, but he should know better than that, man. But anyway, I just digress back into writing these books that go on forever. It's crazy. All right, well, that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I went a little bit too long on this one. Remember to give me a like, give me a subscribe if you can, and if you can, ring that bell, ding, ding. That would be great. Share this video out there as well. I'll see you guys on the next episode. And remember, too, that Fairy Tales of Terror, jump in on that right now. It's on pre-launch on Kickstarter. The QR code is right here, or a link description below. And it'll notify you when we launch so that you can jump in on the early bird specials and things to that effect. All right, I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a great week.